You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
It's good to be back.
Porzingis with the lob. You talk about an easy one. Pristine execution by the Celtics. And the lead is back up to 10.
The basic back screen off a baseline out of bounds. Nobody bumps the cutter. That's an easy target for Porzingis.
Tried blew a tire, got it to Towns. 7 on the shot clock for Cat. Tried to punch it, couldn't. And here come the Celtics. Brown with the crossover, raises up. And the smoke detector just went off.
Get out of my kitchen! Woo. I am caught in between the space-time continuum, which finally happened. They tried to beam me aboard the Enterprise. I got stuck in the Nexus, or wherever the hell I am. Hello. Good morning. It is the Pete Sheppard Show here in the Coastal Sports Network. It is Monday, the 24th of February. Hey there. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Again, sorry for the video part of me. For whatever reason, on Friday afternoon, you know, you get those laptop updates and updating and then shutting down. Well, apparently something happened where if I don't have my regular background, then I am actually visible. But I don't want to see the wall behind me in my bedroom. So, because it's not really decorated and everything else. So I feel like I'm here. I think I'm here. I feel like I'm here. And welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show. Thanks for checking us out across the video platform and the awesome Sports Radio 1029 The Game app, SR1029thegame.com. Following me at PShep326 on Twitter, X, on CSN Florida, Rumble, Kick, LinkedIn, YouTube as well. Call or text the show 727-858-6650. Finally here in Southwest Florida. I know for some of you who just got down here, this is the only day this week, or maybe the next 10 days, it's actually going to rain. But it's going to rain all day today here, at least in Southwest Florida. We'll get the update from Angel Martinez about 90 to 100 miles north of me in Tampa in just a few minutes. But we'll see what havoc it plays on some exhibition games today, especially the Red Sox are entertaining the Yankees today at JetBlue at 4 o'clock, which really sucks in rush hour traffic. Not that I'm going to be out in it, but I would monitor everything, everybody. If you're going to the Rays game today in Minnesota Twins game at Tampa and Port Charlotte, I would keep your eye out for any cancellations. It's going to rain basically all day down here in Southwest Florida. We got a lot to talk about, believe it or not. Sort of a boring sports weekend, but for some, not for me, because I love college basketball, the NBA. Celtics are just absolutely a juggernaut, and it was just a masterpiece yesterday against the Knicks. They're up by 27. They won by 13. They are just too talented. Other NBA news, Joel Embiid was a big story in the NBA this weekend as well. We'll get to that. Stephen A. Smith's thoughts on that. And also on the Knicks being absolute pretenders in the Eastern Conference. They are nowhere near ready to compete for a championship, let alone get out of the second round. They're just not ready. They're 0-7 now against the Celtics, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and OKC. 0-7 against the best of the best. We got some spring training news we'll tell you about. Alex Bregman blasted a 2-run homer yesterday. Sox lose 8-7. Garrett Crochet pitched, I think, an inning and a third scoreless. We'll get to that, get the box score and all that stuff. The Bruins look like they are in, even though right now they are 1 point out of a playoff spot. They lost one of their best defensemen after Charlie McAvoy. McAvoy is already out. Hampus Lindholm is going to be out, looks like, for the year as he continues to cover from knee surgery from last year and also blocked a shot in early November against the Blues and had another injury. So that sucks. Don Sweeney's comments yesterday to the GM basically make it sound like they're going to be packing it in, which I think stinks. I hate it. Fight, fight, fight. You're only a point out. And now, granted, the two teams ahead of you in Columbus and Ottawa have a game in hand, but you still can fight. We'll see what happens. They're trying to extend Brad Marchand as well. I don't know overall what's going on with the Bruins, but the tone out of Causeway Street yesterday with Don Sweeney anyway is that don't look for any significant moves. Yeah, during trading deadline. In fact, they might be trading some people. So we'll discuss that as well. And then the story out of Los Angeles with the Rams and this Matthew Stafford thing, I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out except to think that there's other stuff going on behind the scenes. This guy has 2 years left on his contract of $58 million. None of it is guaranteed. And it feels like the Rams, they don't want him anymore. They actually want him to leave. They've given his agent permission to talk to teams. And is this possible? That's going to open the door for Aaron Rodgers, as was speculated, not only by our buddy Jay Flanley, but others, that be one of the teams that would take him. I don't get it. There's got to be something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. So lots of rain here in Southwest Florida. Baseball, exhibition baseball season, spring training is ongoing here in all of Southwest, all of Florida, by the way, and most of Arizona as well. And with that, we say good morning to the one and only Angel Martinez, who I know also had a busy weekend. I think you were at the USF game yesterday when they lost to North Texas, the men, 64-57. But you were busy all weekend long. How you doing? Is it raining up your way?
It's raining up our way. We're supposed to get spots of where I'll stop and start, but I expect an all-day rain event. And yes, I was at the women's lacrosse game where they end up losing within the last minute of the game, 13-12, to Towson University out of Towson, Maryland. So good game overall, good match, I should say, because it's lacrosse, but good match. Just tough. Towson really brought her on, and overall it was good. It was a busy weekend. This week will be it won't be easier as we are covering the Grand Prix Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So lots of stuff involved with that as well.
Where's that going to be?
That's going to be in St. Petersburg.
St. Pete. Awesome. Yeah. So that's good. Jeez.
Yeah. Boy, so there's a lot of stuff.
Busy area.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of stuff starting today with that. So it's a lot of coverage, a lot of stuff to get together real quick. So yeah, it was a busy weekend, rainy, only 67 today. Yesterday was a beautiful 79 degrees out there in Tampa. So, yeah, just one of those things. And we hear ghosting images when it comes to computers, and Pete today is definitely a ghosting image. I think it's freaking hilarious.
I've tried to beam aboard the Enterprise, and it's a malfunction. But here I am. There's an episode, an old Star Trek episode with Bill Shatner. I call him Bill. William Shatner. And he gets, I forget the name of the episode, but he gets kind of lost in like this. And like he keeps appearing here and there because something happened when they try to beam him somewhere and he got stuck in this. There's also happened in the Next Generation with Geordie LaForge and Ensign Rowe. They got stuck in this beaming thing where they could not be seen. They could see each other, but could not be seen. And then it also happened. There was some Romulan guy. Anyway. You get afterwards. They figured it out.
Yeah.
I think they flooded. I think Mr. Data flooded the 10 Ford, which was like the bar they used to meet at, because they were having a celebration for their deaths because they thought they died. And he finally figured out it was something that in the phasers or whatever that would emanate some sort of chemical reaction. Anyway, they made, when a phaser overloads in Star Trek, that's a big thing. Like you can wipe out everything. But when you do it, when they overloaded their own phaser because it was in the space-time continuum thing, it caused a huge flood, and the particles finally, they could see them, and they beamed them aboard. Anyway, there's my nerdiness for the day. So I'm here. But I'm not here. Yeah, so you had a busy week. It's going to rain all day down here. I advise everybody to please monitor if you're headed to Port Charlotte to see Minnesota play Tampa Bay. I would monitor that, and of course the Red Sox Yankees. I don't know why the game's at 1 o'clock. Not at 4. It's game's at 4:05 today, not at 1. I don't know why you schedule these games in rush hour traffic down here is crazy. It's bad enough as it is. Yesterday, Angel, they got done. I had to run up to Publix for a couple of errands real quick. And it was probably halfway through the Red Sox game. They ended up losing 8-7. Like, who cares about the scores in preseason games? Alex Bregman, though, went 3 for 3 and blasted a home run. He was fantastic. I go to Publix, and it was like Super Bowl Sunday. And lots of Red Sox fans, and I get it. Lots of people who don't know how to drive in Publix parking lots, and the sense of entitlement, and just, I just sat there in amazement. It didn't affect me. I got a spot. And then I just observed in a matter of 30 seconds, walking from my spot to the door, of just like 100 idiots of all ages, shapes, and sizes, of just having absolutely no idea how to drive in a parking lot and be a tad courteous, when someone's backing out, and not try to screw by them so they can get to their own spot in 2 seconds more than it's just an absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Some of the people, like I went in there, I'm like, all I got was 4 items, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I almost got killed twice by 2 older ladies with shopping carts who had absolutely no idea paying attention. And when I come down my aisle, Angel, I treat it like I'm driving. I go very slow. Right. I didn't have a cart because I like do this. I peek out just to make sure that some idiot isn't coming across because they don't pay attention. But I just had the little green, item thing, and I almost got hit twice. Then a third time, this lady in the 10-item express line proceeded to just, I'm there, and she just wanted to dart in, and I was like, okay, I'll go to the next the one right next to it where there was nobody there. So I don't even get angry. I just shake my head, and I fear for my life now when I go to Publix. I fear for my life, not only in the parking lot, but in the store, because you get trampled by these older people with this sense of entitlement. It's like they don't give a shit at all. And I don't want to yell at older people. I'm like, I just go. I shake my head sometimes. I go, really? You go, you got to get to the cookie aisle that quick? I'm not going to steal your cookies. Still going to be there. There's plenty of soup, okay? I got you. Just like people.
I think the parking lots, though, you bring up a great point because the parking lots are starting to get really bad. I understand, like, a lot of the cars now have the backup camera. Not like a lot of people end up using it. I don't care for it. Just the initial glance, just to make sure there's some directly behind me.
Yeah.
But, you always look over your shoulders doing a rock back and forth motion.
Yeah.
But then there's 2 things. One is people will look at you as you're walking by, but they're like, nope, let me jump into reverse real quick and beat you out. Okay, no big deal. I stop. I just let them go. But then when you see there's a physical car coming up, there's another car on the other side, and you want to squeeze in between the car that's waiting for the spot and the car that's backing up. I was like, what are you guys thinking? Just have patience, folks. But yeah, it gets crazier and crazier every day.
Then down, and down here, I'm sure. We're in full season mode right now.
Yep.
And you have all these people also on Fort Myers Beach, which will actually take you anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours to go a mile. So you got to deal with that. It's because down by Times Square, the traffic light is still out. There's a detour sign over there going over the bridge. You have to go around. It's right like in front of Margaritaville. You have to go around. It's really, I have my Fort Myers Beach hat on. I usually do support all the businesses down there, but it's a lot. It seems to be worse this year. I haven't been down there in about a month and a half, to be honest with you, because the traffic is, I can't deal with it. It's like if you don't get to the beaches, if you get to the beach down there, and even going into the water is still very sketchy, but there's still plenty of great bars and bands and all that stuff on Fort Myers Beach. But if you're not down there by 8 o'clock, you're going to be stuck in 2-hour traffic to go a mile. It's just that simple. And if you're one of those people that wants to go for a couple hours and go home, you're going to get stuck in a lot of traffic. It's going to take you a very long time to go a very short distance unless you find a great parking spot, or if you want to park at the bottom of the bridge and walk up and walk over, which most people will not do, carrying chairs and all the shit for their rugrats that they got to bring. It's like they upend their whole house, with wagons. People have wagons and toys, tons of toys and wagons. I had a pail and a shovel when I went to the beach when I was a kid. You know why? Because I didn't want anything else. I have a pail and a shovel. Now you got to have virtual stuff. You got to have iPad. You got to have all the distraction stuff. I sit there, I'm like, why bother? And it's like, why bother? You go to the beach, make a sandcastle, go in the water. But we digress. I had a pail and a shovel. I would make a little, that's all I do. This is really freaky, isn't it? Woo.
Yeah, it is different. No, you're right. That you have to almost bring a whole what's the word I'm looking for?
I,
You
I, I,
know,
I see parents here where I live and into the pool area. They bring a wagon full of toys. And it's like, I understand floaties. I'm not counting that. I get that. And I'm like, what are you going to do with all that stuff?
you got to bring everything. Yeah, the iPad. You have to bring in the freaking your phone, which obviously you have. But it's like they're entertained for about a minute and a half, and then
And
you
then
have
you
to
have
bring,
rafts and all that stuff, which is in the beach is fine, but every single gated community I know of, you're not supposed to have all these rafts in the pool because it's for safety reasons and insurance reasons, but nobody follows the rules and they're never enforced by many. And I'm not being Charlie get off my lawn here stuff, but it's just a matter of time before somebody and the two gated communities I've lived in, you just don't have it. I mean, certainly not in the lap pool. And we have a big, family pool over here. Plus, it's a kiddie pool, which it's an awesome kiddie pool we have here. Well, you've seen it, and it's got a huge slide and water thing and all that stuff. But it's just, I don't know. The baby, I just don't get it. I don't get it.
it's completely different than when we were growing up. That's all you needed was a pail, a shovel, and maybe the little things to make the pieces for the
My
sandcastle.
parents would have to yell at me, come out of the ocean, or come out of the pool, come out of the ocean. You'd stay in there until you pruned.
Sure did.
Yep. Anyway, I never had floaties either. I started swimming pretty good when I was about 5. We had to pass a basic test where we had to tread water for 3 minutes. I didn't pass the first time when I was 5, and then I just turned 6 and I passed the second time. But that's just toughen up, Buttercup. That's just the way it is. I never had floaties on. My dad would hold me in the ocean, but my sister and I never had floaties on my arms. Never. My dad was the floaty. Honestly, my dad was the floaty. When I went with him, I'd grab his, I'd swim, he'd hold me, and I'd hold his arm and kick back and forth. That my dad was the floaty. I'm sure a lot of people's dads and moms were the floaties. But anyway, we digress. All right, let's get into yesterday and over the weekend, some great stuff. Boy, St. John's just blasting. Sorry, my friend Jim, I know you're listening. I didn't text him yesterday as UConn was getting humiliated by St. John's. And of course, Gus Johnson and Fox have to do the whole Italian-American mafia thing. And they went into Rick Pitino's father being shaken down by the mafia back in the day, blah, 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 blah. And then they proceed to put Rick Pitino up there and Al Pacino. And Gus Johnson must have said Godfather about a gazillion times. And, nobody's a big Godfather fan than me and everything else. But when you force it on people and do what they did yesterday, because Rick Pitino's Italian and sort of looks like Al Pacino, it got sickening. Every timeout. And the Godfather calls a timeout. Oh, shut up.
Jeez.
Please. I can't take it. All right. We're going to go into the Celtics, and then we're going to go into the 76ers today. And I'm not sure how long we're going to go today. We'll go as long as I want to go because I got some errands to do. I know you have some stuff to do today. It's kind of a slow day, but I do want to be on Mondays. I want to do a complete recap, basically, some of the stuff going on and some of the stories out there. Shedeur Sanders, by the way, says he will not work out at the Combine in Indy. Not the first to do that. He says he's going to go and meet some teams. Now, quarterbacks are supposed to report tomorrow. This is, of course, at Indianapolis, down there where the Colts play. We'll get to that. The Stafford thing, I for the life of me, I can't figure it out. Can't figure it out. I'm hoping some of the people that cover their team in the NFL on the NFL Network and ESPN, there's got to be more to this. He's got $58 million left on his deal, 2 years left, none of it guaranteed. Yet seems like the Rams want him to go. It's a bizarre situation. But let's get into the Celtics yesterday, and rightly so. The defending world champions have just been awesome. They're 8-1 in their last 9. They got a busy week this week. Tomorrow they're at Toronto. Wednesday they're at Detroit. And then Friday they're back home against the Cleveland Cavaliers on Friday night on ESPN, which should be a great game. And then they host the Denver Nuggets on Sunday, which should be another great game. As we go down to crunch time here. And the Celtics are an absolute wrecking machine. And when you watch how they played defense yesterday, It really it warms the cockles. It really does, because there's not a lot of teams that do it, and they're like top 3 or 4 in offense and defense distribution, all those crazy numbers, but they are almost impossible to guard. It really is, and the guy, and when, of course, and when they are, and they've been reasonably healthy, all of them, the last couple, except Drew Holiday. And even about Drew Holiday, who takes so much pride in his defense, the sacrifices that Drew Holiday has made. He ended up with 14, 4, and 2 yesterday. But the sacrifices that the Celtics make for each other, it's really, really refreshing. And the way they play defense is just absolutely outstanding. And they're going to be, like I said, and they got every guy on the floor. They're like the best starting 5 in basketball. Everybody can make a 3. They're very tough to defend. Porzingis is almost unstoppable. And on the defensive, I mean, you just watch him. If you just focused on KP playing defense, it is awesome. He is I think right now he's the biggest shot changer in all of the NBA. I really do. I don't even think it's close. I think Joel Embiid can be that player or could be that player, and I don't think we're going to know for the rest of the year, because I think they're shutting him down. More on that later. But Haley, oh my dear, how are you doing? Oh my goodness, my good friend Haley, the dear daughter of my buddy Ron Barino, and of course your lovely mom Maria. Oh man, how are you doing, Haley? I'm glad you're checking in from Maine, where it snows at your house. I see your post on Facebook, and I see beautiful pictures of you, your hubby, and your beautiful family. Baby boy, I believe. Yes. And you have a black lab, I think, too. See, this is what happens when you go to miss you. Yes, we're doing great. Miss you lots. They have an unbelievable amount of land where they moved in Maine. And with that comes an awful lot of snow. I mean, it is. God bless you, Haley, and your hubby and your family. God bless you. I couldn't do it. You know, it's raining down. This is how bad it is. This is how great it is. I mean, we are getting rain down here in Southwest Florida for the first time, really, in what, 2.5 months, Angel?
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, we have not, I mean, it's beautiful. It's been beautiful weather, obviously, down here. Today is going to be in the 70s. Humidity's up a little bit today. Actually, had to shut the doors and put the AC on. But, oh, shit. Sorry, for whatever reason, my camera today, whatever settings, after I reset everything on Friday, see, I could do, is this gonna cut me out? I could do.
Uh-oh, we're about to find out something.
Hang on, I could do that, but I don't have any. The office is in a spare bedroom. There's nothing here except a couch bed, and there's an extra refrigerator over there. But I do the virtual thing. First of all, it messes with people's heads because they actually think I'm on the beach all the time. So I'm going back to my. I don't care. I don't care if it's a little.
Yeah, go back.
The way things are here, it could pop on at any second. I don't know what Google did on the refreshing and all that stuff. I have no idea. But getting back to the Celtics, Tatum nearly had a triple-double again yesterday, 25, 10, and 9. Just outstanding. Brown with 24 and 8. D. White, 19, 9, and 7. KP, 15, 7, and 2. Holiday, 14, 4, and 2. And then between Cornette, Hauser, Hofford, and, little Pritchard only got 3 points and 4 rebounds and 2 assists yesterday. But there's nobody that can come close to the depth of the Celtics. It's not even a close second. And the Knicks are no match for them at all. They are no match for Cleveland, and they are no match for OKC. They really are not. And I can't wait for the Celtics-Cleveland game on Friday, and then against Denver on Sunday. And between that, tomorrow night in Toronto, Wednesday night in Detroit. So if we could, Angel, I want to get to a couple of videos here. We'll get into the Celtics first, and then the 76ers, which is, and even though it's, I just hate to see good/great players not be able to play. But we could scroll down to the Celtics, NBA and ESPN, and this happened post-game yesterday. Hard to be excited about the Knicks' high ceiling, Angel, if we could play that video.
It's coming up.
Yep.
And away we go. Like so. Here we go.
There's three things I'm worried about. Number one, even when Mitchell Robinson comes back, you're now going to ask Karl Towns to go back and play power forward. He hasn't played there all year, and so now he's got to go chase around stretch power forwards. They got to work that out. Number two, as you mentioned, Stephen A., they are poor against the three-point shot. Well, the two teams ahead of them in the East and two teams they'd have to beat in the playoffs, Cleveland and Boston. Boston's number one in volume. Cleveland's number one in percentage. It's not the weakness you want to have. And number three, they have right now, if the playoffs were to start today, the toughest road in the whole NBA because they would be on the opposite side of the bracket as Cleveland. So you'd have to get through Boston to get to Cleveland without home court advantage in either thing. And even if you made some sort of big run and got to the finals, then you got to play the West champ.
Yes.
I respect that they are a fun team to watch and they're having a good season, but it's hard to be excited about their high ceiling. There's three things I'm worried about. Number one.
Good point.
Well, and again, the Knicks, it's just every year. And Tom Thibodeau is an outstanding coach. And they're just not at the level the Celtics or Cleveland at. They're not even close. I mean, the Celtics were up by 27 again yesterday. They beat them by 27. The last time they played, they beat them by 21 earlier, and yesterday they won by 13. They were up by 27. A couple times they could have put it to 30. And every time the Knicks went on a couple of little mini runs, which you knew that's what happens in the NBA most of the time, the Celtics had an answer for it every single time. Cleveland just obliterated them a couple days ago. The Knicks just obliterated them. It was they gave up the most points in a regular season game without overtime. I think we gave up 143 points in the loss. Meanwhile, it certainly looks like this will be it for Joel Embiid. Stuff that we have been talking about on this show, like what is better off if they, how hurt is he? I'm not saying he's not hurt. Or maybe he just has buzzard's luck. All the buzzard's luck in the world. They should just. It looks like they're about to shut him down. They're going to explore. They're going to. What is the exact quote that they said? They're consulting doctors and considering alternative options, such as surgery for his injured left knee. That story came out last night, Angel. So if we could scroll down before we go to break, here's Stephen A. Nice pink suit yesterday. I think he kind of sums it up very succinctly, Angel. He probably sounds like you would sound as well, although you don't seem to care anymore. And you're frustrated, which I understand. But here's Stephen A. Here's yesterday on the situation of Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers.
America, you don't give a damn about the Sixers, and neither do we. We're reporting the news because Sham's great. He's the best in the business. Wendy told you what he told you, and basically what he said was lose, so you can hold on to your lottery pick, that top 6 protected pick, okay? And you got the perfect excuse because Paul George, he's injured. He's not been healthy all year, even though he's been on the court sometimes. Joel Embiid, have we seen? When did he look good this year? When was he moving well this year? It has not been the case. They are done. This season is over. The city knows it. There's no brotherly love for the Sixers. Lose. Sit Joel Embiid for the rest of the season like Perk was saying last year. Sit Paul George while you're at it and just be done with it and prepare for the next 3 years because this season is a joke. Nobody gives a damn about the Sixers because we know they're not healthy. America.
Yay!
You don't give a damn about the
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. No one cares, and no one cares for the next 3 years either. So I add on top of that. Go Celtics.
Well, it depends on the draft picks. Sam Sharonaya says, again, 76 and Joel Embiid, consulting doctors, considering alternatives options for his injured knee. Sides of hope for progress in Embiid's body, but his efforts to play and current treatments, including injections, have not provided any improvement. So, I mean, he's trying. I'm not saying he's faking it. I think he's got what Jimmy Williams used to call, the late, great Jimmy Williams, buzzard's luck. But I'll propose this question to you before we go to break. This could end up being the worst contract in sports history. This is almost as bad as Deshaun Watson's, and in some cases, it might be worse. After this year, Joel Embiid is owed $248.1 million over the next 4 years. 25-26 is due to make $55.2 million. 26-27, $59.5 million. 27-28, $64.3 million. And in 28-29, $69.1 million. highlight underneath, the contract is fully, as Chuck would say, guaranteed. Fully guaranteed. 55.2, 59.5, 64.3, 69.1, fully guaranteed. Might be worse than Deshaun Watson if he's not able to play at a high level again, which I don't know what's going to happen.
I want people to go back and look at Andrew Bynum because everybody remembers that joke of a contract as well. This is worse. And what's even worse about it is Josh Harris doesn't care because he sees the Sixers as his fuel money once again for his Commanders. So he doesn't care about this team. And fans who continue to show up and pay for a garbage team, that's on you guys. I don't freaking pay for that nonsense because for me, the way I look at it, I don't care if it's $60. That's $60 I can put in my tank or $60 worth of eggs, which is only a carton right now.
And here's the thing, though. And I understand, Paul, shut it down. And, there's an OKC 6 pick involved. If where's the whole thing? Let me see. There's a thing with OKC, a protected first round pick and all that stuff. I don't have all the details in front of me. But first of all, if the Sixers try to tank it, at least if Adam Silver lives up to his threats, he's going to lay the law down. So, because people are still paying money to go to these games, and at least you get, Paul George and Maxey. I mean, I guess if they start sitting those guys down, if Nick Nurse starts sitting those guys down, and they get the order from upstairs to tank, that could be an issue. It may not be as easy to do as it used to be. However, they could still be in the starting lineup and then not play for most of the game either. And then there's just nothing the commissioner, I don't think, is going to be able to do about that. But it is going to be really interesting. But the 76ers now, they're a game and a half out of a playoff spot, meaning the play-in tournament. Joel Embiid, I don't believe, will not play the rest of the year. And I do believe Paul George will probably get shut down as well. All right, let's take a quick break, Angel, right here. When we come back, some NFL news, some spring training news to tell you about with the Red Sox. Alex Bregman was absolutely outstanding. I want to tell you that Phil Castanetti's Sports World in Saugus, Mass. is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. So head on down to Phil Castanetti's Sports World, 184 Broadway in Saugus. Call 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus. You got to be there. All right, quick break, and back after this on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey, everybody. It's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
Be Alex Bregman coming in to face Andrew Bash. 2-1 pitch to Bregman. Whips that one high to left field, up towards the wall and over everything. Welcome to Boston. Alex Bregman, a 2-run shot over the wall, and the Red Sox take a 3-0 lead.
As advertised, he likes the ball close to him. You try to challenge him up with the heater, he's got such a short swing. And hopefully we see that a few more times at Fenway Park.
Pretty good start from Monsieur Bregman here at Fenway South yesterday. Tom Caron and Lou Merloti with the call on Nesson yesterday. Always great to hear their voices. It means baseball is right around the corner for those of you who care. And I'm one of those that does care. I know Angel Martinez cares because I think both of our teams are going to be in contention this year, at the very least, for a playoff position. But yesterday, the Red Sox, they lose 8-7, but it didn't really matter. Bregman with a nice smash there. He went 3 for 3 in that game, batting in the number 2 spot and starting at third base. Rafael Devers, who I guess took a lot of extra action at third base yesterday. But Bregman went 3 for 3, had a double off the monster in his final plate appearance in the bottom of the 4th inning. Red Sox lose 8-7. Garrett Crochet pitched yesterday. the blossoming ace, according to Ian Brown, as we all call him. We're going to get Ian on the show maybe tomorrow as well, who works for MLB Network, covers the Red Sox. The blossoming ace acquired for 4 prospects at the winter meetings. He was overpowering in the first inning, struck out the side, lost some command in the second, and finished the day with a walk and 4 punch-outs over an inning and 2/3 scoreless. He said just having what he liked about being at Fenway South. He said just having some good fan turnaround helped a lot. That's probably the most people I've thrown in front of spring training, so it's cool to kind of get the juices going early. So again, remember he was with the White Sox. They said it was Bregman said it was great, packed house today, which is pretty cool, pretty awesome for a spring training game, and I could definitely feel the energy. So good stuff there. For the Red Sox, and I mean, I don't really care about wins and losses. I just don't. But they're on TV today, on nationally on MLB TV, although I still think the game's going to get called. Game's out till 4 o'clock this afternoon. Hang on. I don't know why they schedule these games at 4 o'clock here, and you know how busy it gets down here, on Daniels anyway. But at 4:05, rush hour, are you serious? Good luck. I won't be going anywhere near. And I have to leave my house today after the show to go do a couple of errands, not more than a couple miles away. But just for those of you in the area who are not used to it, if you're going down Daniels anywhere from 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when the game is on, when the game starts at 4, from like 4 to 6, you should be okay, except that's regular rush hour traffic, which is bad enough down here anyway. It's bad enough down here anyway, so I'm just cautioning everybody, especially, and then when the game gets out around 6:30, 7 o'clock, if they play, which I'm saying right now, I don't think they will. I'm looking at the forecast. It's going to be raining on and off all day and pretty heavy. Like I said, we have not had rain down here in 2.5 months, and it looks like it's going to be a go all day today. Just keep checking with the Red Sox, and if anything happens before the show ends today, I will let you know. Even after the show, if I see something on social media, I will retweet it. So those of you, I caution going to JetBlue today to watch the Red Sox Yankees at 4:05. Be on the lookout. And also Minnesota Twins heading to Port Charlotte for Tampa Bay. Watch out for that as well because there's rain through the entire area.
You can read this. They were originally at 1, but moved due to the weather.
Well, I don't. They might have. Maybe that's correct. Maybe that might be the reason because usually they're 1 o'clock games here. Also because it's on MLB TV.
Yeah,
which is the other reason. But regardless, 4 o'clock game. In fact, I want to just double check.
Which is kind of silly because when you really think about it, if that's what he did, and I understand it, whatever Major League does what they do, but here it's supposed to, we're supposed to get late showers in the afternoon. It's supposed to be heavy around that time. So
I'm looking right now. The heaviest showers are at 70% at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Right now, I'm looking at it. It's at 60s between now and 3 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock or 2 o'clock, 60 to 65%. Then it goes up to 70% from 3 o'clock until 6 o'clock. So the heaviest rains are coming at 4 o'clock. So what I'm just telling you, I'm not going to be shocked if they play, but nobody wants to be out there. And I saw the Red Sox put a statement out on it. And I don't know why they did, because what they should have done is move the game to 10 o'clock. I mean, it's actually stopped raining around here right now. It's still dark out as hell. It's going to start raining again. But anyway, if you ever see
at 4 in the morning,
it's going to be bad. The weather's going to get worse as the day increases around here. So we shall see. All right, more baseball from spring training. Let's see if we can get, let me see, some relevant stuff here. Dave Roberts on the culture in Los Angeles. This is from MLB Network.
There's certain people that just don't realize our standard of being a Dodger, and that speaks to the character part of it. And so when you have guys like Mookie and Freddie and Shohei, guys that know that there's things that are bigger than them, whether it's a few years ago, Shohei, hitting in the home run derby while starting the All-Star game, appreciating the fact that the game is bigger than him, the game needs him, or Mookie sliding in to shortstop from right field and getting uncomfortable and going through some growing pains, and Freddie is Freddie, right? So we have a lot of guys like that just want to make each other better. And, even last year, gosh, we had so many different young pitchers, NRI, non-roster guys that come in and helped our ball club. But it's the culture, as you mentioned, AJ, that allows young players, new players to kind of feel like they can be themselves and still help contribute.
All right. There is a Dodger skipper from a Red Sox player. Dave Roberts will never, ever, with the greatest stolen base of all time in Game 4 against the Yankees. Meanwhile, here's Mookie Betts. He was just talking about it. He said he spent time learning from one of the best in Troy Tulowitzki. This is from MLB Network.
There was a lot of physical components. I would say mostly physical. I had to fix the physical before I could fix the mental, just because I had to understand what I was doing. Definitely physical, and we were out there 2, 3, 4 hours sometimes, just fielding ground balls and talking and whatnot. So Tulo is definitely a huge part of who I am today, especially playing shortstop. And now it's the process of figuring out who Mookie Betts is out there. And the only real way to figure that out is experience. And the only experience I got right now is spring training. I can take all the live fungos and all the regular fungos I want, but nothing can replace experience.
All right. Meanwhile, also on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio, here's Jim Bowden on how competitive the National League East with Angels Phillies are going to be.
There's an energy in Mets camp that's different. Juan Soto's made a difference. And, last year we saw what Francisco Lindor was the MVP of the Mets last year. And now you got a top of the lineup that's Lindor, Soto, Alonso, and Nimmo or Vientos, either way, 4-5. This team's going to be fun. This team's going to be right in the race with the Phillies and the Braves. All three teams have a legit shot of being postseason teams. And I think we're in for a pennant race of the ages. I think all three teams are elite. All three teams can win the World Series, and it's big boys facing big boys, and I'm excited about it.
Yep. Rick says, I thought the Dodgers and Reds were scheduled at 4 p.m. on MLB Network. They probably are. That's not uncommon for MLB Network to carry a couple of games, depending on what region of the country
the West Coast.
is what you will see. Speaking of Juan Soto.
And now Soto for the first time as a Met. Drives this one out to left center. Leon back to the warning track at the wall. He's out of here. And Juan Soto has homered in his first spring training at bat as a New York Met. That's making him mark quickly. Wow. Wasting no time. After hitting a career-high 41 home runs for the Yankees last year, Soto makes the first down payment on the next car.
Yeah, first at bat. I don't know if it was the first pitch or not, but they did the first home run. Great. The Mets still aren't going to win it. They're not. They won't. Can't. It's going to be all about the pitching. All that hitting is fine. Let's see what happens. Now, it is going to be a great race between you guys, your Phillies, the Mets, and the Braves. There's no question about it. It should be a lot of fun. I don't know what the Cubs are going to be. But anyway. How about this yesterday? Ellie De La Cruz, our buddy Mike Petraglia out in Arizona covering the Cincinnati Reds. How about this guy yesterday?
Now Ellie De La Cruz pitch swung on, and this ball's launched high and deep right center field. Back goes Thomas. He's on the track. He looks up. It is gone. Ellie drives it out of here to right center field. It's 2-1 Guardians on De La Cruz's first home run of the year.
And I believe that was a breaking ball that De La Cruz hit out to right center field.
Well, he's off to an explosive start on a 2-strike pitch, no less. Got a breaking ball, and he didn't miss it. Now here's Ellie De La Cruz. This is his second at bat. The pitch. He swings and sends this one high in the air. Deep right center field. Back goes the center fielder, Thomas. He looks up, and he's done it again. Ellie De La Cruz with his second home run in as many at-bats to start Cactus League play.
Well, that'll be all over the MLB highlights. Woo. 2 for 2 with 2 bombs. One a bullet, one a towering bomb out of right center field.
How about that? Ellie De La Cruz going all Mickey Mantle, homering from both sides of the plate. How about that? Yeah, let's see. What else we got? MLB news going on here. Dylan says, Angel, get to the Phillies game today. Paul Skeens is pitching. Well,
nope.
He'll be pitching an inning, maybe two at the most. You will not fight traffic nor the weather to get there. Again, if they even get to play. we'll see.
No, especially when the tickets are starting to get into the $85 stratosphere. That's ridiculous.
For a preseason game?
Yep. No, thank you.
Yep. I'm sure it's like that too around Fenway South, but people, they still sell out. People are going to, they love the Red Sox. They're going to be there. Let's see. What else did I have? Oh, this is interesting. Vlad Guerrero, in more baseball news, says he'd be open to signing with the Yankees as a free agent despite comments in the past. Meanwhile, John Heyman on the Baseball Insiders podcast says Vlad Guerrero expecting a deal over $500 million in free agency next offseason.
What teams do you think could end up being in on Vlad Jr., like the early teams to look for?
Well, the rumor is that he likes the Red Sox. I don't know how much validity there is to that.
Some.
I don't know how close he is to Devers. Devers may be saying negative things to him now, and I'm not sure there really is anything negative. He's just upset that he doesn't want to move off of third base. But that's been the rumor. I mean, certainly the Mets with Alonso having the opt-out, that's a possible opening. They obviously have the money. I mean, the Yankees, they've got Goldschmidt on a one-year deal. It's got to be a big market team, obviously. He's not Soto. He's not getting $765 million, but he's going to expect over $500 million. So, how many teams can afford that? It is a limited number of teams that can afford it and are willing to go there. It's, less than a third of the teams, certainly, and maybe it's a handful. There were, 5 or 6 teams in on Soto and even more money. But, at least we can eliminate some teams because there are certain teams that are not going to spend $500 million for a player, no matter how good a player it is.
Yeah. But the Red Sox are definitely going to hopefully be in play. And Arenado from St. Louis, I believe, is also in play, but we'll see. Right now, can only talk about the players that are on the team, right? Before we go to break, the Rams have given quarterback Matthew Stafford his agent permission to speak with other teams about his market value. The news was first reported by the NFL Network. Sides have been discussing a rework contract, according to ESPN. After the Rams won Super Bowl 56, the team and Stafford agreed to a contract extension in March of 2022. He has 2 seasons left in the extension, $4 million guaranteed in 2025 and none in 2026, a total of $58 million. Last year, Stafford and the Rams agreed to a rework contract and an adjustment that took until the day Stafford reported to training camp. Sean McVay, the Rams coach, said that after the season, he would hope the team and Stafford, who's 37 now, would have clarity over the situation. It's just bizarre to me. Again, after spending 12 years with the Lions, the Rams traded for Stafford before the 2021 season, then won the Super Bowl in their first season together. In 16 games last year, Stafford, 65.8% of his passes completed, 3,762 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. It's a bizarre scenario to me why this is happening. I really don't understand. Louis Riddick is going to have him talk to you, and he has a take on the situation as soon as this commercial plays. But it's a bizarre situation. There's got to be something going on behind the scenes for some reason. But if they lose him, if he goes and they don't want him, it certainly sounds like they do not. It certainly opens the door for Aaron Rodgers to go to the Rams. All right, here's Louis Riddick right here.
Get into trouble, teams get into trouble. But I think in general, people, when they're talking about, well, we should just trade away this very valuable asset and, use all those, pieces that we get back in terms of draft picks, all that draft capital to just go ahead and build out the rest of the team as if you could just take a guy like Matthew Stafford and replace him with any old body. I think that really is foolish logic. I think RC laid out a very good point, which is this. Yes, it puts the onus on the scouting department and the coaching staff to go ahead and develop the rest of the roster, especially when you have someone like Matthew Stafford taking up a disproportionate amount of the salary cap. But guess what? If you flip it around and you take Matthew out of there, but then you think, hey, I'm a genius. I can just get all these other pieces and build it around whoever the next quarterback is, and you think you're going to have the same kind of success, I guarantee you're not. You're not going to have the same kind of success because this guy is different. There's a reason why you pay him the way you do. There's a reason why Matthew Stafford is going to walk into the Hall of Fame. There's a reason why when we were watching him against the Philadelphia Eagles, that this guy was two plays away from maybe upsetting Philadelphia and knocking them out of the playoffs. he's different. He's a difference maker. I think they need to find a way to make this work and get him back in the fold for at least 2 to 3 more years. Because if you don't, and you do put him on the trade market, I'm lining up. I'm lining up at the door going, I want some of that. I want Matthew Stafford on my team.
It really is. It is very interesting. It makes a lot of great points. Hey, it makes, and to me, there's got to be something going on behind the scenes. I don't understand this at all. You want to bring in Aaron Rodgers, or just say for shits and giggles, say for some reason they end up with Sam Darnold and Stafford ends up with the Vikings, which I can't see that happening either because I think they're pretty content on J.J. McCarthy. But no question, Matthew Stafford would have a job in 2 seconds. I really don't get it. It's a bizarre scenario for me to comprehend why they want out. It's baffling. But other teams will take him. I can tell you that. Let's see. Shedeur Sanders of Colorado. He's considered, obviously, him and Cam Ward, two of the top 2 quarterbacks. I think Cam is much better, but he will not work out at Lucas Oil Stadium, but will meet with teams in Indianapolis. Quarterbacks are scheduled to arrive, as I said earlier in the show, tomorrow at the Combine, which formally opens today, and their on-field workouts are slated on Saturday. Now, for me, Angel, I'm not a Combine guy. I don't go crazy about guys running around in jockey shorts and doing sprints and cone drills and seeing how high they can jump and blah. It does. Some people love it and they put a lot of stock in it. I don't, especially the speed stuff. Oh, this guy runs a 4.3. This one runs a 4.2, a 4.5. I never understood, the 4.5 people or the 4.6 people as opposed to the 4.2 people. It's literally less than a blink of an eye. Does it really matter if it's 4.2 or 4.6? Seriously, does it really matter? And again, it's all about football speed. A lot of these guys have regular, straightforward sprinting speed, and I get it. But there's a big difference between that and running routes, a huge difference. Because you're not running, bomb type of situations all the way down the field every single time. So it's not all about flat out speed. I've seen guys with a lot of flat out speed not make it in the NFL after a year or cut. It's guys with football speed that can make a difference. But I don't know. You a Combine guy at all? I mean,
nah.
Lifting weights, running around in jockey short. I don't know.
Nah, it doesn't make any difference. And last year, if you remember too, they were talking about it so much because they were saying some of the guys were wearing almost kind of like see-through-ish, I guess, underwear, whatever it is that they wear. I don't care for it, honestly. I know a lot of people go bananas about it, like, oh, I want to be there for the week. All right, knock yourselves out. But for me, it makes no difference because in the end, all right, you went a 4.2, 4.5. When you're going to run that route and you're on the field, that's when you're going to put on the jetpack. It's not, because you're going to have, let's say you ran a 4.2 all through high school, maybe 4.25 in college. Now on the day of the Combine, for some reason, you just have a mishap. And you know what? You run a 4.6. Oh my God, what happened to us? 4.2, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, don't take too much stock into it.
It's a blink, and it's about running routes, how you can cut, double move and everything else. You're not, yaks. You want to turn on the afterburners after the catch. That's what's most impressive to me. But you got to get open first. And getting open is not about running flat out 4.2 down the field on the sideline. It doesn't happen. It can, but it's very rarely. You're not going to be throwing those type of routes all the time. No. Otherwise, there'd be no short. Everybody would throw bombs.
I think we should come up with the Combine.
Yes.
Yeah.
The what?
We should come up with the Combine. Traffic cones, a couple of tires, and 1, 2, 3 red light.
No, dislocated knee. Oh, that's they played that game in Squid Games. I only got through about 6 or 7 episodes of Squid Games last year. I couldn't do it. I'm not one. I'm not pretend. I'm not. It's just got to be so disgusting. But the first game was 1, 2, 3 red light, and if you didn't stop, or you got shot.
Yeah, you were taken out.
or if you did stop, but then I can't hold it. I can't hold it, and then
eliminated.
You didn't make it anyway. I'm not sure how it ended, but I know the guy that started it had to go back for whatever reason, and that is one show I cannot get into at all. I couldn't. I tried. I really did, and I thought it was well done. I just wasn't. It was too violent even for me. It just got silly. Oh, by the way, what's that show? I think it's on Saturday night. Not the Love Boat. It's about the ship doctor, the captain on the boat. That's or the ship's doctor. Have you seen that? I haven't seen. Have you seen the commercials for it? It's on ABC.
I think it's on ABC.
It's on ABC. And I don't know if it's a season premiere or what, but it's this huge cruise ship, right?
Right.
And I guess they come under attack by sharks. There's the thing where it's like, there were like 10 sharks. I saw the highlight yesterday following this big cruise ship. And I'm like, are you serious? I mean, is it going to be like Sharknado? Are you getting that stupid? Because it seemed like a pretty serious show. Like Love Boat, but more serious with the doctor and people getting sick on board and all that stuff. And then I see this huge cruise ship being followed by a school of sharks. Come on.
It's the shows like the regular. I can't honestly tell you. I think the last 2 reality shows that I watch is maybe 3.
Well, it's not a reality show. It's a drama on ABC.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I get it, but it's just like there's other ones that are out there too. But what I'm saying, I guess shows I should say altogether.
Yeah.
The other ones I watch is Survivor, what is it, the Great American Race, whatever it is. It usually comes down behind it.
Yeah.
Ghost, and the one that comes Fox, the Special Forces one. Other than that, I don't watch. I usually put on Netflix or whatever sporting event is on.
I watch all my Food Network shows, and I watch Top Chef, Gordon Ramsay stuff, which did a whole segment in New Orleans, basically, and he's still doing it down there for Hell's Kitchen. There's what do you call it? Now he's got him and Richard Blaze, and they're doing that show where they find the best. They've got 16 chefs. They're going to be some are real home cooks. Some are Instagram or social media type influencers, quote us me, and everything. I like those kind of shows. Other than that, it's all on, and I watch them the next day on Hulu and on Max. And I absolutely refuse to watch anything that I cannot fast forward through commercials to. Or like I said, I pay a little extra every month for no commercials on all of this stuff because I can't deal with it. So it's great to watch an hour show in 41 minutes because there's no commercials.
So here's a question for you, because I know you're right though, because I do watch Top Shelf as well, and the other one, Top Chef, excuse me, not Top Shelf, Top Chef.
And Drivers and Dives, by the way, was just down here in Naples, so they probably filmed it 6 months ago. But they did a review of a couple of restaurants in Naples on Friday night, which I haven't seen yet.
I'm wondering if you're a kid, because they have the one with the kids, right? And some people are like, oh my God, it's like,
it's great.
Yeah, some people's like, oh, that's child labor, or kids are messing around with knives. To me, I think if a parent, obviously, which they are, is responsible enough to see what their kids are doing, like to me, some of these kids are freaking good. I'm like, why not?
They're unbelievable. Last year at the Super Bowl, I talked with Chef Andrew Zimmern, who I love to death, and he's, I watch his stuff too. He is amazing, but he's been one of the judges on MasterChef Junior. Obviously, we've had Chef Derek Fox on, who competed in MasterChef. Well, these kids, it's not child labor. It's at all. They're the ages between 8 and 13, and they are remarkable at what they do. Yeah, is there an accident from time to time? Sure, there is, but nothing severe. Nothing didn't happen to the adults either. The adults cut themselves way worse on these shows than the kids do. So. No, I think it's fantastic. I think it's good they learn to cook in the kitchen early on and get take some responsibility. I love it. I think it's great. All right, quick break. When we come back, a few more subjects to get to. Try to find some entertaining stuff as well. The SAG Awards were last night. Anybody watch that? I know Demi Moore won for a movie I never heard of. The Oscars are coming up on March 2nd. I've watched 3 now. 2. I actually saw Mufasa over the weekend. It was good. I liked it. The prequel to The Lion King. I've seen Conclave and I've seen Wicked. That's it. And Mufasa's not out there. I've seen Conclave, I've seen Wicked. Oh, and September 5th, which is fantastic, about the Olympics in '72 and how all that went down. I hope that one wins. That one or Conclaves. And Ralph Fiennes in Conclave was fantastic. And a very interesting ending to Conclave. Maybe I'll give it away. Very interesting ending to Conclave. All right, all of that, part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on a rainy Monday here in Southwest Florida on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And, with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick, and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
There's nothing that, obviously I could like go to the grocery store and nobody would know it and stuff like that, but I think it's just all a part of it, and I'm just thankful that the city of Boston and has really welcomed me with open arms and just has shown so much love to me and to my family. So it's been great being here, and I just know that's all a part of it, and I wouldn't change anything.
That is Celtics guard Derek White. Outstanding game for him yesterday, as well for the Celtics and DW yesterday. 19 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and near triple-double. Tatum almost had a triple-double. They dismantled the Knicks yet again. Clobbered them at the Garden, 118-105. Busy week for the Celtics. Tomorrow night in Toronto, Wednesday night in Detroit. Huge game Friday night. Looking forward to that already. 7:30 on ESPN against the Denver Nuggets, and then Sunday on ABC at 1 o'clock again. Friday night hosting the Cleveland Cavaliers at 7:30 on ESPN, and then hosting the Denver Nuggets on Sunday at 1 p.m. My Bruins, meanwhile, are in a little bit of trouble here. They're a point out of a playoff spot as we head down the home stretch here. It certainly seems like Don Sweeney could be semi-throwing in the towel here from what I'm reading from our good friend Mick Calagio on rinkrapmc.com and some other outlets. It seems like they lost another defenseman. They've got Charlie McAvoy out for a while. Hampus Lindholm, their second best defenseman, he's out for the year while still recovering from knee surgery from last year, then blocked a shot this year in November, or last year against the St. Louis Blues, and he's hurting, so he is being shut down for the rest of the year. Meanwhile, what else is going on? Oh, here we go. This is great. Let's. I'm going to give you see if we can do this. Get some more music here. In the NFL, Angel, most arrests since 2015. Now, don't look at my Twitter account right now. Can you guess what team has led the NFL in arrests since 2015?
The Dallas Cowboys.
No, I will tell you. Dallas Cowboys are 11th with 12 arrests since 2015 now. This is like 10 years. Dallas is 12th. Go ahead, continue. I'll give you 5 guesses.
Okay, so I said Dallas.
Yep.
Who else can I think of? The Browns, they've also robbed from their fans.
The Cleveland Browns are 8th. They're 8th with 113.
Good Lord. All right.
I'm sorry. They're tied for 13th with 8.
Okay. 13th.
They're tied for 13th with 8.
Let's go to Miami Dolphins. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Bill. Miami is... Where are they? Where is Miami? They are tied. They are only 4. Tied for 27th.
All right.
Tied for 27th.
I'll throw a mulligan to Bill. Bill says the Bengals for the 4th.
Bengals. No, the Bengals are only 7. They're tied for 16th.
All right. So you said
16th. Yep.
Give me 5. I don't know if Kansas City would be up there just because, but they have had a lot of rests as of late. Screw it. KC.
KC is number 1 with 16 arrests since 2015. They lead the National Football League.
Jeez Louise. What have you guys been doing? Don't they like winning?
All right, let's try and see if we can get who's second since 2015.
St. Louis. I mean, not St. Louis, LA Rams.
No, the LA Rams are tied for 13th with 8. Only 8.
Not bad.
No. All right, let's keep it going.
Giants, I think they're low. They can't be up there.
The New York Football Giants are. Where are they? They are tied for 8th with 9. Tied for 8th.
We did that high. Dare I say my birds? Let's go with the Eagles. They got to be low.
The Eagles are tied for 21st with 6.
Good. All right.
With 6.
It's probably 5 out of 6 are fans.
We're trying to find number 2. Number 1 is Kansas City, 16 arrests, most arrests since 2015. Can we get number 2?
All right, let's see. We already mentioned the Cowboys. Let me stay out west. If I stay out west, let's go with the Raiders.
The Raiders, surprisingly, are tied for 16th with only 7.
All right. That's good news for Raiders fans. Oh, damn. What team could be troublesome? Seattle, there's no way. The only thing they get arrested for is getting high. Chargers, I don't think. They've been pretty quiet.
Chargers down the bottom. Chargers are only 3, and they're 31st, which is the second best in the league at only 3 arrests.
What about the Cardinals? The Cardinals have been ripping off their fans for years.
No, the Cardinals are only 24th with 5 arrests.
All right. Well, so much for that one.
Let's see if we can get number 2. And then number 1 overall, which is the best, the team that is 32nd, with only 2 arrests, by the way, since 2025. Says that, and the second worst team, the second team that's had the most arrests since 2015.
Bill says Atlanta.
No. The Falcons, let's see. Earlier you said the Cardinals. The Cardinals are actually tied for 7th with 10. It's the Falcons that have been good. They only had 5. They're tied for 24th.
And New England really doesn't get into much trouble. Where's New England at?
In 7th, tied for 16th.
Yeah, see? All right. Damn it. The Jets?
The Jets are tied for...
This should be number 1. They got ripped off by Aaron.
They're tied for 3rd with 12. With New Orleans and the Jaguars.
Wow.
Yep. So still looking for that number 2.
Damn it. I'm thinking Canton, Bucks, it's rare the Bucks ever do anything. So they got to be way the hell down here.
Bucks are tied for 27th with 4. So they're down the bottom, which is good. Down the bottom is good in this thing.
It sure is. Damn it. What bad boy team is out there? Detroit?
You mentioned it earlier. You poo-pooed yourself. You talked yourself out of it.
The Rams?
No.
I talked about the Cowboys
earlier, but you didn't make it official. You said all they do is get high.
The Seahawks?
Seahawks are second. 13 arrests, the second most. Kansas City is number 1.
Crap.
Seattle is 2 with 13. Dallas, the Jaguars, the Saints, and the Jets are tied for 3rd with 12. The Cardinals are 7th with 10. Remember all the ties before that. And 8th place is the Baltimore Ravens with 9. Also tied for 8th with the Ravens, Broncos, and Green Bay Packers, and also the Minnesota Vikings and the Giants all have 9. Tied for 8th. The Browns, the Rams, and the 49ers are tied for 13th with 8 arrests. At 7 is the Cincinnati Bengals, tied for 16th, along with the Indianapolis Colts, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Patriots, and the Steelers. All alone, or actually not all alone, but sharing 21st place, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Houston Texans with 6. Then also with the Eagles, all tied for 21st. 5th place, as I said, is 24th place with 5 arrests is the Atlanta Falcons, along with the Buffalo Bills and Tennessee Titans. Number 4. Tied for 27th with 4 is the Carolina Panthers and the Miami Dolphins. And with and also the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Washington Commanders. So all the Carolina Panthers, the Miami Dolphins, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Washington Commanders, all with just 4 arrests, tied for 27. I told you the Chargers are at 23. Tied for they are 31st with only 3 arrests last year. And coming in at number 1 is the Detroit Lions with only 2. Only 2 arrests since September 15th.
2015? Wow. Hey, that's good, though.
Now, I have a clip here from Big Dom, who was speaking about how his pride in being an Italian American, how special his job is. And I'm hearing, Angel, that this is must watch.
Oh,
I'm reading is must watch. So if you want to refresh, and maybe you're going to vomit if you hear this, but nevertheless, by the way, the Eagles are not going to the White House. They refuse. They're not the first team to not want to go, no matter who's in. They didn't go last time they won. I'm not surprised. This happens a lot with many teams and players, with Republicans and Democrats. Doesn't really matter. Personally, I don't care. I care to a point. I think it's an honor to always to go to the White House if you're invited. I don't care what your politics is, or I think it's an honor to be invited to the White House. That you should go. But to each his own. They're entitled to not go. They didn't go before. There's been a lot of players and teams and various sports that have not gone to the White House before. All right, Angel. Here's Big Dom.
Lord help me.
My name is Domenico DiSandro. I am the Chief Security Officer and also Senior Advisor to the owner and GM for the Philadelphia Eagles. This is my 26th year with the Philadelphia Eagles. First, buonasera a tutti. A special thank you to the National Italian American Foundation for this honor. This is not something I'm used to. I'm usually the guy behind the guy or behind that guy. So what a great night to celebrate the Italian culture. Growing up in the Italian household was the best. My friends would come over and question why we have prosciutto, Zawajic, and super salad hanging in the garage. I've always been proud of being Italian. For example, wearing my Italian patch for the sidelines during our games, or wearing my Italian boot, as always, or my cornicchio. The best part of being Italian is by far the food. And for those of you who know me, my pasta of choice has always been the gnocchi. That's probably why I'm this size. When kids were going down the Jersey Shore, we were in Italy having fun. We would spend summers having fun in my mother's hometown of Macchia di Serdia, or my father's hometown of Colli Avertuno, and we had great times traveling around Italy for years. So once again, thank you to Naya for tonight, this honor. I will continue to do the best to represent Italia. Ciao and grazie a tutti, and Forza Italia.
Okay, I like him. I mean, he gets put in the spot, and I get it, but it's a job. What are you going to do? Bigger tragedies in life. Like the biggest tragedy in Philadelphia is 55.2 million, 59.5 million, 64.3 million, and 69.1 million fully guaranteed. That is what's left of Joel Embiid's contract. Absolutely ridiculous numbers right there. And Angel, if we could refresh again, and if you think I'm making this stuff up, which I'm not, I don't make up numbers like that. It's crazy. And on Sportsmanlike Radio this morning, they talked about this very same thing, and it's got to be, if it's not worse than Deshaun Watson's contract. The only reason why it's not worse is because I don't think Joel Embiid is faking it. I think I blame the 76ers. This guy hasn't had a lot of rest. He should have never, ever played in the Olympics, ever. That should not have happened. And he has not time, and part of it is his fault. He hasn't had the proper time to heal from that type of injury. And playing in the Olympics didn't help either. And they didn't need him to play in the Olympics. But here's what they said this morning on Sportsmanlike on ESPN. Did you see it? Oh, actually, hang on. I can play it from here. My bad. My bad. No. It's my bad. It's my bad. Here we go.
It's right up there with the Deshaun Watson deal. I guess with Watson,
I just said that.
His deal is over with in 2 more seasons. This one runs through 2029. So, yeah, I think Joel Embiid's deal is one of the worst contracts, if not the worst contract in all the sports. And the frustrating part about how they're handling the entire situation is that the Sixers are clearly a championship or bust squad, and they're nowhere close to competing for a title. There are 11 wins in the win column, 11 games in the win column behind the sixth place team in the Eastern Conference, which means that they're a long shot to be able to get into the playoffs. And even if they get in, it's probably going to be an early exit. So I don't understand to what end they're managing Joel Embiid's injury. I think they should shut him down, make sure you get him healthy. You're pot committed to this guy moving forward. So the worst thing you can do is have him hobbling around for the rest of the second half of the season and potentially do something worse to his body. So I think they shut Joel Embiid down, and they try to figure out how they can reshape this team, retool this team moving forward, because what they did this year with the big swing with Paul George is a colossal failure.
It was. And look, we said at the beginning of the season, before in the preseason, I was like, let's get the Celtics 76ers rivalry back. Let's get it going. I mean, and if Embiid, Maxey, and George, once they got those guys going, I mean, once you found out that all three were going to play together before the season started, I was like, okay, you might have something here. But even when you had something there, Angel, you didn't have anything there because they finished they're 7-7 when all three of those guys are in the starting lineup.
Yep.
That speaks volumes. Just that stat alone. Forget all. And Embiid has only played this year in 19 of 56 games. That's 34%, 339%. And he only played in 39 games last year, which is a 476 percentage. So this contract stinks. They got sentimental about it, but it has backfired on them tremendously. And you've got $242 million guaranteed the rest of the way.
Yeah, time to just shut it down, shut the whole team down. Just call it for throw in a towel and just be done with for the season. They're not going anywhere. Again, Josh Harris, then just my own valued opinion, does not give a crap about this team any longer. Then they'll keep blaming on the coach. How many coaches are going to have to bring him through a rotating door? It's just the whole thing with the Sixers is just beyond a joke at this point. And then again, you brought up Paul George. For some reason, they thought he was going to be the end all to be all. It's a bad look. So I'm going to piss off a lot of Sixers fans right now, but go Celtics. I hope they win it all.
Okay. And I want to refresh here, and we're going to do a couple more things, Angel, and then we're going to get out of here today because there's not a whole hell of a lot going on. This story happened. You weren't on the show Friday, right? I can't remember on Friday if you were here or not. No, you were going. You left.
I started and I left.
Okay. Right before I got off the air. This is unbelievable. The Yankees held a press conference. I mentioned this right before I got off the air on Friday. The Yankees, yeah, that's right, because Sheila was on with me. And I said, you're going to love this. After 49 years, the Yankees announced they're going to allow their players to have well-groomed beards. Now, if you can, from Get Up, if you can put this up there, Angel.
Yep.
And this was unbelievable to me, the depths that they went into for this story.
Oh, geez. All right. Here we go.
Gentlemen, we have breaking news coming out of baseball. The Yankees are getting rid of, their facial hair policy, an alteration. In recent weeks, I have spoken to a large number of former and current Yankees, spanning several eras to elicit their perspectives on our longstanding facial hair and grooming policy. This is from Hal Steinbrenner, by the way. Ultimately, the final decision rests with me, and after great consideration, we will be amending our expectations to allow our players and uniformed personnel to have well-groomed beards.
I'm glad Damian Woody can now play for the Yankees.
I can now play for the Yankees.
That's what I care about.
What are we doing? First of all, Woody, you'd be kicked out of the clubhouse.
No, this is well-groomed. I'm good now. I'm good.
That's well-groomed.
Yeah, think about waking up and being like, you know what? I'm going to make a huge decision for our organization today. Well-groomed beards, henceforth.
Look, A, the fact that this was put out as an official statement is completely insane. And B, that we're talking about facial hair in 2025 is completely insane. I texted Jeff Passan and said, what are we doing here?
Darlington, what?
Insane.
Did you know, though, that you were allowed to have a mustache according to their facial hair policy?
Well, yes,
Mustaches were allowed,
yes.
just not full beards,
Yeah.
which, by the way, is pretty cool. I like that. I think I would like to go with a mustache.
I mean, I guess. I just don't know what we're doing policing it at all.
decides
what 2025
is?
I think at one point today, I want us all to sit and reflect that the most storied franchise in baseball history has something in their rule book that's called a facial hair policy. By the way, Barnwell, you're not succeeding in any hair policy. Neither here nor there. Moving on to the NFL.
But the funny part of the whole thing, Angel, afterwards, I'm doing some errands on Friday. I'm out in the car. I'm listening to the national feed, right, on ESPN radio. It's the only sports you can get down here. So I occasionally, at my old place of employment. Hal Steinbrenner comes on the air. They go live to the Yankee press conference. A press conference for this nonsense. And you would have thought, I swear to God, you would have thought that he was like at the Pentagon, ready to go to DEFCON 1. He was so serious, and there was no bullshit about it. It's just the mentality of this guy. He was so serious, as if he was being strategic. Like this was going to help the Yankees get to a World Series. I was laughing my ass off. I go, only because I know how he is. He doesn't speak a whole hell of a lot, but this guy is nuts. I mean, and this is how out of touch you can be. This is how some of these owners in all these sports out of touch you can be. He actually talked about it being strategic. He's like, well, I definitely don't want to, now that this policy has been lifted and may influence other players to come to our organization. Oh my God. Could you be more disillusional? That's why the Yankees won't win again. Not now. I mean, they won't win this year. But it was hysterical. And I don't know if we could, if there's a way of punching up Hal Steinbrenner from that day, Angel, real quick. Let's see. Before we get out of here today. I mean, you have to sit there and go, this is a grown man. This is Hal Steinbrenner acting as if war is about to break out because the Yankees are allowing facial hair. I could not believe it. It was so bad. So bad. Anywho, oh my God. Oh, Jesus.
Let's see. This might be some... Pardon me, some audio from it.
Oh, good.
Because I don't believe there's a video of, hold on. Or is this it? All right, there's two kind of back-to-backers here. Let me play this audio version first. This will be courtesy.
It's from February 21st. It should be from the 21st.
From the 24th?
21st.
21st, yeah, no. So, all right, this first one I'm about to play here is from the MLB Network Radio on Sirius XM.
Yep.
And then there's going to be another one to follow behind that one.
Okay.
So,
yeah, listen to this.
This has been going on for a while, and I'm happy that they finally got up with the times personally. I thought this has been an antiquated rule for a long time. Now, it went back to 1976. You were working there, at one point in your career. Do you remember anything specifically about that earlier in your career versus, where it has come up until this point?
Yeah, so first of all, I like beards better than mustaches. So personal opinion, if you're going to allow mustache, then allow the beard. Okay? That's just my opinion.
Right, well, obviously that's not how, but let's see. This second one here is Hal Steinbrenner's response. This is courtesy of the Yes Network. When asked what he thinks his father would have about to say.
Oh, yeah, this was I heard this part. This is it. This is part of it.
Alrighty.
Winning was the most important thing to my father. And again, I think if somebody came and told him that they were, very sure that this could affect us getting the players we want to get. All we're trying to do every offseason, right, is put ourselves in the best position to get a player that we're trying to get. And if something like this would detract from that, lessen our chances, I don't know. I think he might be a little more apt to do the change that I did than people think, because it was about winning. Winning.
Oh, my God. You talk about delusional. Is there any more from as long as you're in that area?
Let me see if I can find some else here.
But that is right there. That's the most important part that you played. It looked like something right there, right above you, right above that one.
Yeah. This one might have been just before that one. It says, during his Friday presser, Hal Steinbrenner cited the possibility of players not wanting to join the Yankees because due to their facial hair.
Yes.
All right. Let's check this one out.
All of you know me well enough to know I don't like addressing hypotheticals, but I'm going to break my own rule today because this was a part of my thought process and a part of the decision that I made. If I ever found out that a player we wanted to acquire to make us better, to get us a championship, did not want to be here, and if he had the ability, would not come here because of that policy, as important it is, again, to that generation, that would be very, very concerning. And, you know, I'm fairly convinced that that's a real concern. But that would be one thing. All of you know me well enough to know.
He actually believes this shit. Seriously. I mean, it's well said by the other gentleman that we're talking about. It's just so policy should have been done away with many years. I mean, you got to change. You can't have the same stuff going on in 1976 that you do in 2025. I mean, my God. But so delusional. It makes you think this guy's running a baseball team. Did you see the look on Cashman's face?
Yep.
He's like, what the fuck am I even doing here? I have better things to do.
Yep. Hold on. This might be the one.
Okay,
This might be the one you were talking about. Let's see.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. It how's or the other guy says.
Yeah, I really want to try to summarize my journey the last few years regarding this topic, last few months in particular, so that you guys could understand the chronology of it and what happened when and who was involved, so on and so forth. Look, debating and deliberating about this topic is something I've been doing with family members and staff, Cash among others, for years. It comes up on a frequent basis. It comes up on a regular basis. I kind of took an extra step this offseason by starting to talk to people that are with other organizations that I know that are in this industry about just why this is such an important topic, why having beards and being able to have beards is so important to this generation. I also talked to a lot of people that are not in the industry at all that I know. And those people were closer in age to the players than they are to me. So there was a lot of research done on that front. What did I learn from all these conversations? And I'll get into what happened earlier this week in a minute. This generation, you know, the vast majority of 20s, 30s, into the 40s men in this country have beards. You know, our new vice president has a beard. Members of Congress have a beard. The list goes on and on and on in this country and in this world. It is a part of who these younger men are. It's a part of their character. It's a part of their persona. Do I totally relate to that? It's difficult for me. I'm an older guy who's never had a beard in his life. But it's a very important thing to them, and they feel it defines their character. It is also the norm in this country for all the reasons I just talked about. So there were a lot of conversations had. I certainly learned a lot. But the most important thing for me was to sit down face to face with several of our players and several of our senior staff.
I didn't shave this morning because of this.
I didn't want to do it over the phone. I didn't want to do it in a group setting. I did it in one-on-one settings. I felt that would be more productive. And I did all that Monday of this week, the first full day of squad practice. There were a lot of things that were told to me that resonated.
I think he wants to punch him.
There were some things that were told to me that were
Brian Cashman, the
concerning,
GM of the Yankees. It's like,
even if
why?
they happened to be more of a hypothetical in nature. But the bottom line is, from those conversations, all the conversations I had in the off season and the last few years with people like Cash, I did make the decision that the policy that was in place,
He's going to war.
Yep.
Outdated. And given how important it is to that generation, and given that it is the norm in this world today, that it was somewhat unreasonable.
Brian Cashman has this look like, did I really have to do this nonsense?
That is not AI. That is the real life Al Steinbrenner, or general owner of the Yankees. and Brian Cashman sitting there in freaking disbelief, like, I got stuff I need to do. I'm trying to get other players to come, and you're sitting here talking about facial hair like you have, I don't know. I mean, it's like he's cured cancer or something. It's facial hair. That should have been, we got more. Is there a good reaction? Because people, I mean, this was embarrassing, laughable.
No, so it wasn't. One guy had spoken about it, but he was just kind of like shaking his head. But no, so other than the Yankees, I think in more important news before we end up closing things out here, if you remember, you remember you asked Rick Horrow, his thoughts about the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yes.
And Rick was like, obviously he's not going to put out stuff because he doesn't want to get in trouble, nor if anything happens. Now, this was from apparently Friday. This is from the JP Peterson show. Breaking just got further confirmation of an elite Tampa-based group and Sears negotiations to buy the Tampa Bay Rays with support of Major League Baseball with a preference to build a new stadium in Tampa. I can't release the names yet, but hopefully soon more details to come. Now, again, what's the word? It's credible, and it's also kind of in relation to what Aaron has been talking about for a while when he's pushing out on Twitter. I know he's not back to work yet because he was just on his he had just tied the knots. But also from the Rays, it also kind of goes back and forth with the whole reason between them and not wanting to do stuff with St. Pete and so on and so forth. So I'll play the video here in a second, but it has been told. Apparently Rob Manfred has been cited about this, but here is what came out on Friday.
Okay. Cool.
So play this.
All right, breaking news, Rays fans. We have further confirmation of this elite group of Tampa businessmen that are in deep negotiations to buy the Rays. I cannot give you the names right now because I don't want to jeopardize the deal, which is fully supported by Major League Baseball. And they want this new group to purchase this team because they have Tampa Bay roots. When I can release these names, I will do so, but I don't want to jeopardize this because obviously it's best for Tampa Bay as a whole. Now, I reported this months ago. We have further confirmation today. Ken Rosenthal also confirmed our reporting a couple weeks ago from The Athletic, the most plugged-in reporter now. The hold-up here is, as usual, Stu Sternberg. The team is valued by Forbes at $1.25 billion. He's likely trying to get $2 billion or more for the team. Now, this is part of the reason that the Rays will likely renege on their deal that they have with St. Pete and Pinellas County for this new stadium deal. As we told you from the very beginning on the JP Peterson show, that deal was never going to go through. It was a land grab, in our opinion, from day one. And when Stu realized he couldn't get the bonds were passed, that he couldn't get that real estate deal, he turned towards the sale. So hopefully this gets done soon. Now, the good news is here that this group will be universally beloved because of their deep Tampa roots. And that gives them the political clout to get the political or the public money. Now, the SITS tax was extended in this past election, so that money can be used for a stadium, so there can be more money there. And also developers can kick in as well. Daryl Shaw, the EBOR plan is still very much alive. That land is still very much available. So you can have developers' money, public money, and, of course, the private money from the new deep-pocketed owners who truly care about Tampa Bay and will spend money for payroll to get this team rolling. And we could do it the way we've always wanted to do it, in the right location with local ownership who will actually put money into the team. So we will have much more on this on the JP Peterson show coming up on Monday. We do it every Monday through Friday from 10 to 12, Tampa Bay Centric Sports. So check it out. Please like and subscribe on our YouTube.
So
it still sounds to me, Angel, that nothing is definitive. Again, I've heard this story before, and it sounds like people are somewhat heading in the right direction. But there's still a lot of buts and ifs and lawsuits that still could be filed to stop this or to procrastinate this. But it sounds like some positive news. But you know what? I'm at the point like I'll believe it when I actually see it.
Yep, me too. I'm the same exact way too. I mean, it's been said for the longest that obviously that there's been a lot of just back and forth went on with the Rays and the ownership, and then them trying to do the whole X-rays thing, go to Montreal, Tampa Bay.
Yep.
So I hope it's, if it is true that they actually do have owners that want to be here, just like, Finnick with the Tampa Bay Lightning. But I hope they do something, because it would just, again, in my opinion, what the hell do I know, would be better off for them to be in Ybor City somewhere in Tampa than down there in St. Pete. Just, again, that's what ends up happening. Rick, by the way, says these are supposed to be smart people, yet each day that goes by raises the cost to build a stadium wherever it is built in Tampa and be done with it. That's what we're all hoping
There's
for.
always politics involved. There's always red tape. And although that sounds like one of the most positive stories I've heard about it in a while, I will believe it when I see it, because there's still a lot of if, buts, whens, and maybes in there, which tells me there's still attorneys that can get involved and sue, counter-sue, and delays could happen. So we'll see. We shall see. One last thing, Angel, if you can refresh my Twitter page, I just tweeted it out. Ken Rosenthal on the Follow Territory podcast, going back to the facial hair. He wants to know why it took the Yankees this long to do it. Why didn't they do it in the preseason? This is really funny stuff. No facial hair anymore for the Yankees. I mean, no restrictions.
Decision. Do you know any of the background of how long this decision was being mulled over by the man, the king, Hal?
I don't. And it's very curious to me that it's coming out on this day. Why wouldn't you have announced this January 30th before the players got to camp? But this is what they're doing. And Hal Steinbrenner said he consulted with several players and former players about this. I don't know that he would have gotten any different answer if he had consulted with players and former players 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, going back to the days of Don Mattingly when he was fighting with the Yankees over facial hair. It's been a ridiculous policy for way too long. My only question is, what took so long? And why even was this policy under Hal Steinbrenner prolonged in the first place? I just don't understand this whole thing from start to finish. This Yankee pride stuff. My friend Joel Sherman pointed out at one point, well, Yankee pride, they've already put some advertising on the uniform, the Nike swoosh. They've also moved from one Yankee stadium to the other. They've had 3 different Yankee stadiums. This tradition stuff, why did it have to include the hair? That didn't really make much sense to me.
Are you saying the Yankees' moral degradation?
Moral turpitude.
Moral turpitude. Who could ever forget that in Porky's? Beulah.
We should bring someone and draw a picture of it. I know what it looks like.
I can identify it. A couple more sound bites before we go, ripping the Knicks. This was sort of disturbing. Jalen Brunson, after the game, the Knicks in the third quarter yesterday, where they 39-15, they outscored the Celtics. They were down by 27 at some point, and they actually cut this lead to 5, I think, or 4, can't remember. But then it just didn't matter. The Celtics went on like a 12-0 run or something like that, and it didn't really matter. Score was not as close in the end as it was, because they went back up by 20 late in the fourth quarter and won by 13. But after the game, Jalen Brunson on the Knicks' third quarter in Boston, and then after that,
it's at a level of not really caring anymore. Just like, all right, this is we gotta go somehow. And so, that, from my point of view, that's what it felt like.
When you say it, what do you mean? Do you care too much?
No, I don't care about me.
Okay.
I don't care about. It was like we all went there. All right, let's just try to find a way to win. And we've done in the past against other teams, but I think it was the first time we did it against this team. So, we can do it. We just got to do it for 4 quarters.
Yeah. Well, the reason why you could do it is because you're down by 27, and a lot of that crap happened in garbage time. And then every time you made a little bit of a run, the Celtics would come back at you, and up by 20. They won by 27, 21, and now 13. Zach Hauser says on NBA Sirius XM Radio, he's lost faith in the Knicks.
I keep really wanting to believe in them making a leap to title contention. And look, I don't put a ton into regular season matchup stuff because it is so random. It's different in a 7-game series. But that one against Cleveland, I was like, all right, I think I got to tap out on this. The Knicks could, like, a best case scenario could be them competing for the NBA Finals, right? They still need to get Anunoby back to full strength and, regular everything, chemistry for the team. So he'll obviously help with what I'm about to say, but their defense stinks.
I've been on
They
that.
cannot guard the three-point line at all. And Anunoby is going to improve that, but he's not going to fix it.
No, is not going to fix it. And Anunoby yesterday had 10 points, 2 rebounds, and 2. But again, you're talking about the Celtics and to an extent the Cleveland Cavaliers. They do it better than anybody. The Celtics have way more talent that can put the rock in the hole from the 3. The Cavaliers are very good. Percentage-wise, they're like a 1% point better than the Celtics. The Celtics obviously take more threes than anybody else. They're actually on pace to shoot more threes than 2s. But it is so difficult to defend them as a team, and especially Porzingis, because he can blast you from the outside. And he takes it 3 or 4 feet in back of the three-point line because he's so tall. His trajectory is it's different than everybody else's. But how he plays defense, and he had like 4 or 5 blocks, it seemed, yesterday in the first half, I thought, and just insane. Actually, let me see how many blocks he had in the game yesterday. I thought it was at least 4. I can't find it, but they're so good. And sometimes he seems to be like 4 or 5 feet behind the play in those big strides, and his wingspan is huge. He changes shots. You see the Knicks trying to drive to the basket yesterday, couldn't do it. They tried. Guys were going, whoop, I know I'm ghosting today. Go all the way around. They'd start at the top of the key and go all the way around. Porzingis would get in the middle. You'd have to go all the way around and throw the ball back outside. That's how good they are defensively. And then you look at, Drew Holiday, what he does defensively. He has so much pride in the defensive game. And Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, very, very underrated defensive players in the NBA. And Luke Cornett, all he does is dunk. He played great defense. He's another shot changer, another big man. When they have Porzingis, Cornett, and Horford out there, I love it. They don't do it a lot, but when they're out there, the 3 big guys out there, and you stick Pritchard and like Jaylen Brown, or it's like, what do you do? They can beat you in so many ways. And the scary part is they're starting to play way better at home now as well. They're already the best road team, but they're playing great at home right now. And we'll see. They got 2 road games this week at Toronto and at Detroit on Tuesday and Wednesday. A day off. Back home against Cleveland on Friday on 7:30 on national TV. And then on Sunday, they host the Denver Nuggets on national TV as well. Anyway. And that's going to do it. All right, Angel, what's coming up on the network today?
Nothing.
Nothing.
What's coming up?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Really?
No, just some audio updates. If you guys have, as I always mention, go back to sr1029thegame.com and you can listen in to what's going on. I believe Rich will not be on the entire week. He will not be on. So if you guys are looking for the drive with Q, it will not be on. And I assume he will come back next week. I'm pretty sure we'll put something out on social medias so you guys can check that stuff out. And then, later on, the rest of the gamut of shows shall be around. But, kind of a slowish day around here.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll enjoy the rain here, everybody, in Southwest Florida and wherever you are. Enjoy your ice storms or whatever torturous places you live that have to deal with sub-zero, improper temperatures. Just stay safe and be kind to everybody. And let's see. I'll be back tomorrow. Jay Flannery will be joining me his weekly visit at 8:30 in the morning, a full show. I'm going to try and get Ian Brown from MLB Network and covers the Red Sox. We'll get another report out of spring training. And I'm sure there'll be other spring training news to tell you about, as well as NFL news and what's going on. See if there's any update on the Rams and Stafford and Aaron Rodgers and all that stuff. We'll do it all again tomorrow at 7 a.m. on the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. And hopefully I'll be back. There's only particles of me you can see today, but maybe tomorrow I will have rematerialized into, me. Have a great and safe rest of your Monday, everybody. Back tomorrow at 7 a.m. See ya.